Today, we are going to be speaking about an extremely important aspect of teaching that we should all be striving to achieve. That is, being a global teacher. What is a global teacher, you ask? They're educators who are invested in global matters, and they explore how they can intertwine this focus within their classroom. Within their curriculum focus, they address multiculturalism, economic, environmental, and social issues, identifying how these issues affect lives at a local and global scale. They are globally competent, having knowledge of the world, critical global issues, and their local impact. A global teacher has a strong focal point of equality and justice within their teaching, and their practice reflects an inclusive learning environment by the way they demonstrate knowledge and the cultural backgrounds of learners, manifest intercultural sensitivity, and accept difference. I know this may sound daunting and feel like an overwhelming ask to know everything about the world, but when simplified, you will see how this approach to teaching is relatively easy and immensely impactful on the students within the classroom. A study by the Teaching and Learning International Survey in 2018 found that schools in Australia are, on average, more diverse than schools within the OECD. From the survey, it found that in Australia, 36% of teachers are working in a school where there are more than 10% non-native speakers, and 41% of schools with more than 10% of students who are immigrants or from a migrant background. With an ever-increasing trend of multiculturalism within the current age, not evolving with this change in times will ultimately be the downfall of the education system. Traditionally, it has long been a belief of teachers to act culture blind. That is, to not acknowledge colour or culture, which may lead to unintentional bias towards or disrespect for those different from us. Instead, we should be celebrating all the diverse cultures within our classroom, not only acknowledging their various backgrounds, but diving deeper into how we can educate ourselves and our students about the different lifestyles, both in and outside the classroom. To be a globally competent teacher, Parkhouse and Wagner recognise that two overall characteristics and aspirations are required. The first is to have empathy and valuing multiple perspectives, which means to be willing to consider alternative viewpoints and maybe reconsider our own. This is a vital skill as teachers. If we are unable to explore the world through the eyes of another, then how can we consider the viewpoints of students from diverse cultures and empathise with global issues? This resonates with me as this idea of empathy is often mistaken by teachers. In a typical classroom, we as teachers can sometimes get stuck from the viewpoint of only being the teacher. And as this is what we only know, and this is the only way we can teach as we have experienced this perspective. By challenging teachers to look through someone else's eyes, it creates an opportunity to explore and learn, and can make the classroom a more inclusive space where ideas are flexible and outside our comfort zone, which then offers a more rich learning experience. The second is commitment to promoting equity worldwide. And in teaching students to become global citizens, this means to understand and recognise the various real-world issues that are occurring around the globe. The ultimate goal for advanced globally competent teachers is to lead students to act on these issues, thus giving them the skills, awareness, and opportunity both in and outside the classroom to make change. This point resonates with me as it pushes the boundary of what we consider learning in school. Rather than curriculum-based knowledge, the concept of global education provides real-world learning opportunities and offers students the platform to take control of their future by working towards a goal of equity across all cultures and places. Creating equitable opportunities within the school and broader community must also be relevant to the school curriculum while tackling real-world issues. Within the classroom, there are plenty of opportunities in which choosing to use real issues as topics or statistics can incorporate global matters into the classroom. For example, to have students do an information report, the topic could be on how people overseas access clean water, or within a school maths test, using homelessness rates as one of the questions could bring up the issue. Opening up students to these issues can plant a seed that has the potential to one day become an action or movement towards solving matters around the world. Students should also be offered the opportunity to make local to global connections based on existing studies. This can involve real-world issues that students can find within their own community. Having students create a food diary on food they've eaten for a week could be a great starting point when discussing issues of world hunger. The next step could be for students to interact either through Zoom or with someone who struggles to provide food for themselves or their family, or has experience working with these people. This could ultimately lead to an opportunity for students to volunteer at soup kitchens or donate food to local charities. Students could write a report or reflection or a story on what they saw or learned through this experience. And this could be used as an English assessment, highlighting the full circle learning opportunity that would tie in both global education and our current school curriculum. To finish, I'd like to ask the following inquiry questions. What age do you think students should be exposed to real-world issues? And do you think some issues should not be mentioned within the classroom? And the second was, how large scale do you think the issues should be that you address within the classroom? Do you think focusing on issues across the world is necessary, or should they remain local issues? Thank you for listening.